1. Intro. Most people imagine Marcus Aurelius waking up disciplined, motivated, and mentally sharp, as if greatness begins with confidence. But that's not how he started his day. In fact, Marcus often woke up tired, resistant, and unprepared to face the world. And instead of fighting that feeling, he spoke directly to it. What he practiced each morning wasn't motivation. It was something far more uncomfortable and far more powerful. Before we go any further, take a moment to subscribe to Legacy of Thinkers. This channel isn't about hype or shortcuts. It's about the timeless mental frameworks that help ordinary minds carry extraordinary weight. Now let me show you how Marcus Aurelius actually began his day, and why it still matters today. 2. Common myth. Modern culture teaches us that the morning is a performance. You're supposed to wake up energized, positive, and ready to dominate the day. Social media celebrates routines filled with cold showers, affirmations, and forced optimism. And if you don't feel strong right away, you're told something is wrong with you. But Marcus Aurelius saw this kind of thinking as a trap. He understood that the mind does not wake up obedient. It wakes up human, heavy, distracted, resistant. And pretending otherwise doesn't build strength, it builds denial. Stoicism was never about manufacturing confidence at sunrise. It was about honesty before discipline. About meeting yourself as you are, not as you wish to appear. Marcus warned that when we demand energy before clarity, we create exhaustion before the day even begins. When we force positivity, we train the mind to reject reality. The myth is that greatness requires immediate control. Marcus believed the opposite. True control begins with recognition of discomfort, reluctance, and the quiet voice that says, "I don't want to do this yet." And instead of silencing that voice, he listened. 3. The real morning truth. Here's the real morning truth Marcus Aurelius lived by. Your first battle isn't the world outside, it's the conversation inside your head. Marcus didn't wake up asking, "How can I feel amazing today?" He woke up expecting friction. He expected other people's moods, delays, noise, disrespect, his own fatigue. Not because he was pessimistic, because he was prepared. In meditations, he rehearses the day before it arrives. You will meet people who are impatient, ungrateful, dishonest, jealous, and self-absorbed. And the point isn't to hate them. The point is to stop being surprised by them. Most of us wake up and make a hidden demand. Today should be easy. And when it isn't, we feel personally offended, like life broke a promise. Marcus trained himself to drop that demand before it could poison his day. So when his mind whispered, "Stay in bed," he didn't panic. He didn't shame himself. He didn't reach for fake motivation. He answered with clarity. You were made for action. Not for comfort. Not for the warm pull of the sheets. For the work of being human, thinking well, choosing well, behaving well. And notice what's happening here. He isn't forcing happiness. He's choosing responsibility. That's the shift most people miss. Stoicism isn't about waking up inspired. It's about waking up honest. Honest about your resistance. Honest about what the day will contain. Honest about what you can control, your judgment, your response, your character. Marcus didn't start his day like a motivational speaker. He started it like a man training his mind to face reality without flinching. 4. Stoic framework. This is the Stoic framework Marcus used every morning. And it's shockingly simple. Separate what is yours from what is not. The day will bring weather, traffic, emails, opinions, unexpected problems, and other people's moods. None of that belongs to you. Not because it doesn't affect you, but because you don't control it. What does belong to you is smaller than you think, but more powerful than you realize. Your perception, your choices, and your actions. Stoics call this the dichotomy of control. And the reason it works is that it gives your mind a clear job description. When you wake up, your mind wants to control the entire world. It wants guarantees. No conflict, no discomfort, no uncertainty. But the world doesn't sign that contract. So the Stoic move is not to demand a perfect morning. It's to decide, in advance, what you'll protect. Your judgment. Marcus trained himself to notice the moment his mind reached outward. Trying to force circumstances, fix people, rewrite the day before it happened. Then he pulled it back. Not with anger, not with hype, with a quiet correction. This is not mine. If someone is rude today, that's not yours. If the schedule changes, that's not yours. If you feel tired, that sensation is real, but it doesn't get to make your decisions. Your power begins where your choices begin. That's why Marcus could face chaos without becoming chaotic. Because he didn't confuse influence with control. He didn't waste his mornings negotiating with the uncontrollable. He woke up and practiced one thing: staying sovereign inside, even when everything outside moved. And once you see this, you realize the Stoic morning ritual isn't a routine. It's a boundary. 5. Modern mirror. Daniel wakes up already late, even when he's on time. Not late on the clock, late in his mind. His eyes open and the inner noise starts immediately. The inbox, the meeting, the deadline, the conversation he replayed at 2 a.m. The one sentence he wishes he said differently. Before his feet touch the floor, his mind is already trying to control 10 outcomes. He scrolls for motivation, but it only sharpens the pressure. Because the problem isn't that Daniel lacks energy. It's that his attention is scattered across things he can't command. In the next room, Evelyn sits on the edge of the bed, quiet. She doesn't look dramatic. She looks aware. The kind of awareness that costs you sleep. She's thinking about her mother's health. A friend who went cold without explaining why. A relationship that feels stable on the surface but uncertain underneath. And she's carrying that familiar fear. If I don't hold everything together, it will fall apart. That's the modern myth wearing a different outfit. The belief that worry is responsibility. But watch what happens when they try the Stoic move. Daniel pauses. He doesn't fix his life. He just names the boundary. This email is not mine to control. My response is. He chooses one task, one clear action. No bargaining with the universe. Evelyn breathes and tells herself the harder truth. I can love people without managing their moods. She can show up with care, without chasing certainty. And in that moment, nothing outside changes. The world is still noisy. The day is still unpredictable. But inside, something shifts. They stop treating discomfort as an emergency. They stop demanding perfect feelings before taking the next right step. That's the mirror Marcus offers us. Not a fantasy morning, but a sane one. 6. Practical Stoic shift. The practical Stoic shift happens when you stop asking, "How do I feel today?" and start asking a quieter, more powerful question. What kind of mind do I choose today? Feelings arrive uninvited. They're shaped by sleep, memories, hormones, yesterday's conversations, and tomorrow's worries. Marcus never waited for them to cooperate. Instead, he treated the mind like a position of duty. Not something to indulge. Not something to suppress. Something to govern. When resistance showed up in the morning, he didn't argue with it. He acknowledged it, and then moved past it. The Stoic move is subtle. You allow the feeling to exist, without letting it vote. Fatigue can be present without deciding your behavior. Anxiety can speak without holding authority. Discomfort can sit in the room without running the meeting. Marcus practiced choosing his inner posture before choosing his actions. Calm over urgency. Clarity over reaction. Responsibility over comfort. That's why Stoicism works in real life. It doesn't demand emotional perfection. It demands alignment. You don't need to feel ready to act with integrity. You don't need confidence to choose discipline. You don't need motivation to do what the moment requires. You only need to decide who is in charge. In modern terms, this looks unremarkable. You wake up tired and still keep your word. You feel irritated and still speak with restraint. You feel uncertain and still take the next honest step. This is the shift from mood-driven living to principle-driven living. Marcus understood something most people miss. A good day isn't built on good feelings. It's built on good judgments, repeated quietly. And once you make that shift, mornings stop feeling like battles. They become rehearsals. Not for success, but for character. 7. Quiet closing. So the Stoic morning ritual isn't a checklist. It's not a perfect routine. It's a quiet decision to stop begging the day to be easy. Marcus Aurelius didn't wake up trying to feel good. He woke up trying to be good. To meet reality without flinching. To meet discomfort without becoming cruel. To meet uncertainty without collapsing into panic. And if you're honest, that's what most of us are really fighting for. Not a life with fewer problems, but a mind that stays steady while problems come and go. You can practice it tomorrow morning. When the resistance shows up, don't treat it like failure. Treat it like training. Name what isn't yours. Choose what is. Then take one clear step forward, quietly, without drama. Because the point isn't to control the world. It's to remain sovereign inside it. If this message helped you, share it with someone who wakes up carrying too much. Drop a comment with the one struggle you want to meet differently tomorrow. I read them, and I build future episodes around what you're facing. And if you want more Stoic frameworks like this, like the video and subscribe to Legacy of Thinkers. We're building a calmer mind, one morning at a time.